Today we're going to be reviewing some of the best and worst videos with Jamie Oliver, although most of them tend to be on the latter. In any case, I had to throw at least a good one or two in there. Now, let's get started.
We're back on the pier.
Our lovely old calf is open for business.
Why he always cooking in weird place? He make ramen outside truck. Last time he make green curry in antique kitchen. This Jamie never cook anywhere normal. Jamie, you got problem at home, is it? Trying to escape your wife? I think Jamie Oliver always telling his wife, honey, dinner ready in 5 minutes. Let me just quickly pop to ocean.
Jamie's cooking on the pier again. Is this the same one that we saw in his previous fish video, where he was cooking, and I think that was in Brighton? Or is that another? You have to admit though, that is quite a long walk to bring all the ingredients just to make this.
Love Thai food.
This Greg Davis, famous comedian in UK.
Green curries, I could just exist on green curry.
Yeah.
Green
And it's the little tiny places sometimes, as well as the big restaurants.
I mean, I look like
Uncle Roger don't know who the other guy is. Nobody give a shit.
Well, he has to be somebody, and he has to be somebody important to be able to be there with Jamie Oliver, because I mean, even Uncle Roger can't get an audience with Jamie Oliver.
What I love is that you loved it so much, even though you got bitten by mozzies. So,
Bitten by Mossy.
And you've bought a load of mozzies into...
well, I've got 30,000 mozzies and the Thai green curry to teach you.
What is Mossy? Mossy is British slang for mosquito. That's so weird. Just say mosquito. Why you give mosquito cute nickname like Mossy?
Jamie has 30,000 mozzies. Is he like doing this as a side business? He's like shipping them into the UK or something. For me personally, I cannot stand mosquitoes. They are literally the #1 bug for me that I could do without. Let's take a little poll. Let me know down below what you think is worse. Do you think mosquitoes are worse than cockroaches?
Bought a load of mozzies into...
Well, I've got 30,000 mozzies and the Thai green curry to teach you.
What?
And the Thai green curry to teach you.
Jamie Oliver gonna be your teacher for Thai green curry. Oh no, you know how bad he fucked it up last time? That like getting BBC Food to teach you how to make egg fried rice,
It's also like Rachel Ray trying to teach you on how to make pho or pad thai. Or it's kind of like Jack trying to teach you on how to make lasagna.
Whoa, that shot right back at me.
We decided to go and find the best chef in Thailand. This is Chef Mukdan.
Oh, he using a Thai chef recipe. Okay.
One part to another.
Maybe this will be good.
The base of any good curry is the paste.
Give me your hand, lovely dear chap. Well, not to shake, but as a vehicle. 2 teaspoons of cumin. 2
Cumin.
teaspoons of coriander seed.
Good.
So the chef's recipe that we're going to be using today, his name is Mick Dan. How is he part Scottish? Mick.
Good. Cumin, coriander. Good.
Put those in the wok over there.
What he say? What he say?
You're going to put those in the wok over there.
Jamie have what? Oh my god, this is my first time seeing Jamie with wok free. Oh, Jamie, you finally can afford wok now. Welcome to the club.
Out of all the videos that we've recorded, I think this is the first time that we have honestly seen Jamie use a wok. He's been holding out on us.
To bring them back to life. When there's
Toast correct.
torches now, pop them to them. Then you can start to...
Pestle and mortar. Oh, correct again. Jamie, 2 out of 2 so far.
Now, if you don't know why Jamie is toasting some of the spices first, when you toast a lot of the spices, it helps to release more flavor. And this is especially important when making any paste. And on top of it, he's even using a pestle and mortar. You can wing it with like a Roboku or another type of device to like cut all the ingredients up. But if you can actually crush them, it does release different flavor profiles instead of cutting.
Are you good at banging?
You know, I used to be. A bit sluggish these days.
Same as Uncle Roger. I getting old now. Bang halfway, need to take break. Catch my breath.
No, sorry, children. Don't worry, Uncle Roger. I'll put it for you.
Some people have premature ejaculation, but Jamie have premature marination. Sorry, children.
We're going to pound 2 to 4 de-seeded green chilies and 12 small whole chilies.
I actually haven't got the energy to take the seeds out of these ones.
Oh? He actually not de-seeding them this time.
You only have to do this like Once or twice a year, you can make a batch and freeze it. And then when you come back from a gig, a few prawns.
You think I'm going to do this when I get home?
I hope so.
They not.
It's never going to happen, is it?
These two people, multi-millionaire, they not gonna pound themselves. They're gonna hire some Thai children to pound for them. Oh, like remember that Thai football team that got stuck in that cave? Now they stuck in Jamie Oliver's basement.
Now, if you don't know why Jamie normally removes the seeds from the chilies, a lot of people have the concept that if you remove the seeds, you remove the spice, the spiciness, the capsaicin, which makes the chilies hot. But actually, that oil is secreted from the membrane, the white part on the inside of the chilies. So the seeds do have it, or it has it on it.
4 lemongrass. And for that, we're going to give it...
Like he never see lemongrass before.
To break down the fibres.
OK.
So,
Stop spanking. You're gonna pound it later in pestle and mortar anyway. Spank for what? This Jamie becoming like nephew Nick, spanking everything.
This is true, isn't it? He's always spanked it. He's either spanked it or used at least the back of his knife to break it.
and then just give it a spank. But if you smell it, it's also released that incredible...
Why he like spanking?
And it doesn't make sense because he's going to be smashing it in the pestle and mortar anyway. He's just doing the same thing. You can cut it up into smaller pieces if you want to crush it. This can help. And you can smack it if you want, but it's a redundancy. You don't need to do it again.
Add the zest of 2 kaffir limes.
Correct.
Chop galangal or...
Galangal?
Got it. 8 cloves of garlic and pop in 10 peeled Thai shallots.
Shallot. Very nice.
Smash them.
Jamie's using galangal on top of this. He went out of his way to get like the correct ingredients. He really did because, you know, it's not always easy trying to find some of these specialty ingredients at our local grocery stores. What is galangal? It's similar to ginger. It almost looks identical to it, although many people will say that it's actually spicier and more flavorful than ginger. Now, of course, if you can't get galangal, many people will say if you don't have it or you can't get it, don't use it. But if you want to substitute, you can. Then again, you can just buy pre-made paste that normally has all the correct ingredients in it.
Yo, Jamie getting all the ingredients right this time. Uncle Roger feels so happy. No mushroom and munch too this time. Good. He learning. I think Jamie watched Uncle Roger video and learned the proper way. It not McDang.
Oh, Uncle Roger, is possible, but just wait. We're only halfway through the recipe, so fingers crossed that he's not going to add any like strange or weird ingredients. But it's possible that he may add some peas later on. It's possible.
A lot of love goes into it. Now, something you might not like. Shrimp paste.
Oh, I don't like it.
That is disgusting. Do you know what that reminds me of? Cleaning my guinea pigs out when I was a kid.
What?
Well, it looks quite similar.
Looking forward to your curry?
That is the widest conversation about shrimp paste Uncle Roger ever hear. Shrimp paste is one of the most delicious food. You compare it to guinea pig. Why white people like all these weird pet? Don't keep guinea pig as pet. Used for experiment only. Hiya.
Me personally, I've never owned a guinea pig. I've always had dogs, cats, horses, and then, of course, when we had more land and a farm, you know, chickens, ducks, and everything else, and parrots and everything. But guinea pigs? Never. But recently we did see a video where Nick has a pet rat and he trained it on how to make ratatouille.
Last but not least, white pepper.
Nice, correct?
So we're going to give it just a little bit of love.
I'm just nervous about
Shrimp
getting that shrimp paste
Shall I have a
everywhere.
penny for you?
Yeah, let's have a penny.
Yeah.
A what? Penny?
Precious about this
What is...
shirt, but
Oh, penny mean apron. Why so weird, these British people? First you call mosquito mossy, then you call apron penny. What? You invent English language, but you also fuck it up?
Penny is an apron. Is this just where Jamie grew up, that he speaks a little differently and he has some different terms for things? Or is this a bit of Cockney? It was actually a rhyming slang that was invented, so people couldn't really understand what you were talking about. Apples and pears are stairs, a butcher's hook is a look, or to have a butcher's is to look, and trouble and strife means wife.
Do you remember the Crimbo Din Din we had with the grotty Scotchman?
Oh, the one that was all 6s and 7s?
Yeah, she was a trouble and strife, but the Morris dancer lived up the apples and pears.
Yeah, she was the barrister that became a bobby in a lorry.
So now we're going back in with the spices.
The cumin and coriander.
I think you've done a great job. That is
Wait,
a beautiful paste. As you can smell, it's...
no, it not paste? You haven't finished pounding. Paste not supposed to look like fiber.
as you can smell, it's...
Don't pour out. Put it back in pestle and mortar. You haven't finished pounding. Hiya. Look at Mark Ween video. Look at how the green curry paste supposed to look when you finish pounding. It's not supposed to look like ball of hay. Pounding green curry paste take longer than this. I feel bad for both their wife. They finished too early. I'm not sorry I'm dirty, children.
And I'm not sorry, I'm dirty.
Quite pungent.
In other words, they didn't put enough elbow grease into this because you can tell that the paste is not finished. It's not the right consistency to be a paste. So when you eat the curry, you're going to have a lot of fibers in it instead of it being more of a sauce. It'd just be a little chunky.
And a little goes a long way. I am going to leave you now.
No, don't leave him.
Just done.
Don't leave him. He's not actual chef, but I guess neither is Jamie Oliver.
I knew it was going to happen at some point in this video. You know, I'm actually surprised that we didn't have a jab at Jamie a little before this.
So this is the good bit. You've done the pounding. Now it's the making.
Let's cook.
We have a wok.
Yeah.
It's on a medium good high heat. We're going to put some vegetable oil in.
Vegetable oil? No. Green curry. You start by cooking the coconut milk. Heat it up until the fat separate from it.
This is true, and we reviewed that video that Uncle Roger just showed. It was a really good video. If you want to know on how to make a very easy and simple curry, you should watch that video.
I'm going to go in with 3 heaped tablespoons of your beautiful paste. Congratulations, you did a great job. So 1,
Not beautiful.
2, and 3.
So, but now you're just stir frying the paste?
He is, but you do want to actually cook the paste because the paste or many of the ingredients that we already added to make this paste are still raw. And you want to be able to extract as many flavors as you can out of it. But it is a very important part because otherwise you won't get the same flavors.
Put just a tablespoon or 2 of...
Okay, now you put the coconut cream in there.
It just clags it up a bit and you can kind of push it around the pan a little bit more and it makes it easier to sort of toast up.
The rest of the coconut cream goes in.
Okay, wait, what? Oh my God. Why don't you just put all the coconut cream in beginning? That's what you're supposed to do. Why you put 2 spoons first and then put the whole pot? Why?
Simmering, we'll add 600 grams of free-range chicken thighs.
Thighs have got much better flavour.
Correct.
Oh my goodness, Uncle Roger actually agreed with Jamie. This is rare. You don't see this very often.
Correct.
So we'll mix that up. And then we go in with 3 tins of coconut milk.
What? How much coconut you want to put in there? You just put 2 cans of coconut cream. Now you're adding another can of coconut milk. That too much? Uncle Roger predict your curry not even gonna look green?
What I think Jamie is doing is that he's diluting the amount of spiciness in this curry because anytime that you add more volume of any liquid to your sauce that you already have, you're going to dilute it. And with all the videos that we've already reviewed and knowing that he doesn't really like spicy food, like a lot of chilies in it, and he put a lot of chilies in this paste, I honestly think he's trying to cool it down a bit.
Enough for, 8 portions, okay?
Is it?
Yeah.
Add 4 or 5 kaffir lime leaves.
See how white the curry is? It's whiter than both of them combined. This green curry is so white, it's about to teach yoga class.
Rice. How are you at cooking it?
Oh, mine's always a stodgy mess.
Jamie cooking rice. Uncle Roger don't have good feeling about this.
No, I don't either, but we're actually going to see Jamie cook rice. He's not just going to be using his instant packet of rice that we saw, even with the egg fried rice video.
This guy owns so many restaurants, and he still can't be bothered to make his own rice. Packet rice?
Right, so let me get this straight. In a video where the rice is not the most important ingredient, it goes with the curry, it's not the sauce, he's going to make the rice. But in a dish where the rice was the most important ingredient, it's in the title of the dish, he buys it pre-made.
Right, for perfect rice, 1 cup of rice to 2 cups of water. Pinch of salt, boil it hard.
Depending on the type of rice, you'll have to adjust the ratios.
And by the time 12...
No, you don't start with boiling water.
Bingo bango every single time.
Oh, what is bingo bango? Is it Latin for shit at cooking rice?
Bingo bango. I have a feeling that he doesn't like cooking rice, and it's not just because of the way that he's doing it, but anytime that you add already hot boiling water to the rice, it's a cheat.
We'll repeat exactly what we've done.
I am categorically not okay to do it, but
Okay.
I'll give it a go.
Good luck, my friend.
Thank you.
What?
Eat it.
Jamie leaving again, like how my wife Auntie Helen did.
Greg's about to get his hands on his Thai green chicken curry.
We are at that
It's too white.
place we are nearly ready to serve.
I mean, it's a miracle I haven't eaten it already.
Have a little taste.
Oh, my life.
I mean, it's got so much going on there, isn't it?
I mean, it mainly coconut milk going on.
If you're not used to eating a lot of spices, then it will probably be a lot more flavorful than you're used to. And this is probably why he made the comment, because, you know, curry does have a lot of flavors going on. And if you're not used to it, it can just be, wow, it's too much.
I'm amazed it needs anything else. It's delicious.
McDan says 3 tablespoons to 4
Oh!
fish sauce. Look, in my experience, fish sauce.
Squid brand fish sauce for you. Okay. Uncle Roger, get some respect for Jamie Oliver now.
This video is amazing. We are seeing things that Uncle Roger has said about Jamie that I don't think we have ever seen in other videos. Actually, this kind of reminds me, I need to order more fish sauce Squid brand. It's a very good fish sauce, it really is. If you haven't tried it, buy some. You can buy a little bottle and try it in your curry next time. It's delicious.
That's so full of flavour already.
Let's do 2.5. Let's have another little taste. Oh, it's getting better.
Of course, it's getting better.
Let's go to the 3.
Fish sauce, just like MSG, it makes everything better. If MSG king of flavor, then fish sauce is queen of flavor. Just squirt it everywhere. Just squirt.
Again, Uncle Roger, don't worry, I'll put it for you.
Sorry, children.
Add 2 teaspoons of organic palm sugar. 5
Nice.
Thai aubergines quartered.
Thai eggplant, not bad. Jamie Oliver getting it right again.
And pop them in towards the end of cooking to keep their crunch.
Correct.
True, you don't want to overcook them, but you don't want to put them in 2 minutes before you eat and when the chicken is probably way overdone by now. Then again, this is why you want to use leg meat, because if you use breast meat, it will dry out a lot faster and it'll be like, you know, rubber.
Along with a couple of sprigs of Thai basil.
Correct again.
Tear some of those in, but you don't want the stalk.
And a final hit of heat from 2 more sliced chilies.
Chili, oh my god. Jamie doing chili right this time. Remember, in his previous Thai green curry, Jamie used 3 chili only. 3?
I'm going to go for 3.
But now he used so many.
2 to 4 de-seeded green chilies, 12 small whole chilies, 2 more sliced chilies.
I think Jamie Oliver not pussy anymore. He can handle spice now.
Well, time will tell. We'll see at the end if he actually eats this or not. Mind you, eating spicy food is something that some people can easily do and others actually have to build their resistance up to eating spicier food. Also, if you don't eat spicy food for a while and you eat it again, you can have a rude surprise.
Pretty much ready and raring to go. Your rice has had...
Oh, rice.
So off it comes. And look at that. Perfect, fluffy rice.
It's not sticky, he's right.
See here? Look a bit wet. Jamie, just one time, Jamie. Just get rice cooker. Hit Uncle Roger up. I send you rice cooker for free. I want to see you use rice cooker in your cooking show.
You know, I actually think that Uncle Roger would have done that, but if we take a look at the rice real quick, it's too watery. It's mushy. The rice is overcooked. Now, it is easy to overcook rice, and this is why you want to keep an eye on it. But if you don't want the hassle of it, buy a rice cooker.
Perfect, fluffy rice.
It's not sticky, he's right.
And also, metal spoon in non-stick saucepan.
Come on then.
No.
That's a big old portion, isn't it?
Come over here, mate, and have a little go on that.
No need to put coriander on there.
Dan knows what he's talking about. There's so many flavours in it. And the chilli comes through in a really lovely way.
So does this transport you back to Thailand? Yeah.
What? Why Jamie holding spoon so awkward? He holding spoon like...
You know, if I didn't know any better, I say that Jamie's imitating the pose of Ben Stiller in Zoolander. We could call this look like magic curry. Let me know what you think we could call it down below.
Yeah, I was being ravaged by mosquitoes.
Oh, we can arrange that.
This green curry, all ingredient correct. Fuyo, just cooking step a few things wrong. Uncle Roger think the Thai chef told Jamie what ingredient to use, but didn't tell him what order to put it in. But Jamie, this still much better than your previous green curry video. It baby step. You're gonna make perfect Thai green curry, maybe in 25 year time.
Baby steps, but at least Jamie got the fundamentals right of the curry.
At Southend Cafe, we're cooking up a feast that you'll want to get involved in this weekend.
Jamie Oliver's cooking for you. It's madness.
Correct? That madness. If Jamie Oliver cook for me, Uncle Roger mad also.
Well, that was a pleasant surprise. This is one of the very few videos that we have reviewed that I honestly don't think that Jamie did a bad job. He did a pretty good job. Then again, this wasn't his own recipe. This is a recipe that he was using from a Thai chef. Still though, you have to give credit where it's due. Jamie did make this and he put it together, and in the end, it still looked very tasty.
We're gonna make the most delicious veggie shepherd's pie. This is in fact vegan, really, really good, but this is one of many recipes that I'm gonna be celebrating across the whole month. I've done a meal planner for you guys, which spans a whole month of budget-friendly recipes.
Oh, I've heard that before. I mean, it's like almost every single video Jamie has reviewed, he said this is going to be the most delicious recipe, blah, blah, blah. Like with the butter chicken, this is going to be the most delicious blah, blah, butter chicken, or the egg fried rice, or the pad thai.
This is going to be good on the planet, it's going to be good on your wallet, and it's going to be good in your tummy, right? It's going to be delicious. No compromise happening here. So let's get cooking.
Now, I do have to admit, this is a good thing that Jamie's trying to give you like budget-friendly meals and everything, because I mean, in today's world, food is not cheap. Now, if we're going to be saying that it's going to be the most delicious recipe and everything, and it feels good in your tummy, then that may be stretching it a bit too far, at least if we're going to take into consideration the last video that we reviewed of Jamie, which was the pad thai. And if you guys haven't seen that video with Jamie's pad thai, you should see it. Like, really, you should. If you want to laugh, you should see it.
Going to go in with some nice olive oil, about 2 tablespoons goes in, right? We'll put it onto a medium heat. I'm going to start the flavour story with a herb. To use a nice little pile of rosemary in this dish is a good trigger for big flavour. Roughly chop the rosemary. So the rosemary goes in. As you get a little bit of a fry on there, let's add some garlic.
Why is Jamie adding the rosemary first? You don't need to do that. You want to add the vegetables before you add the herbs. I mean, okay, rosemary is not a super delicate herb, so if you add it to the beginning of the cooking process, it's not a big deal, all right? Especially if you're just going to be sauteing everything together, it's not. But you can still brown the you-know-what out of it, and you can still burn it. The same thing goes for the garlic. You don't want to be burning the you-know-what out of it, and this is why Jamie has sliced it, and he didn't mince it. Because if he minced it, it would be brown in less than 30 seconds.
So we're now gonna add the first veggies. Just, you know, standard mushrooms, button mushrooms, little kind of brown mushrooms, portobello mushrooms, whatever you can get your hand on. You can break these up like that. Also, dried mushrooms are a massive, like, trick if you're veggie vegan and you're craving that depth of flavor that you can easily access from meat.
What the hell is he doing with the mushrooms? I mean, why is he using his hands to rip and break them up? You want to respect the ingredients, use them right. Otherwise, they won't respect you, and then your food will taste like shit.
So mushrooms I put in first, season a little bit now to get that seasoning into the veggies. You can go quite heavy on the pepper.
Jamie is doing a good thing. Yeah, I am praising him with this. He is sauteing the mushrooms before he's adding, say, the other ingredients, the other onions or any other veggies, carrots that he's going to be adding. This is good. Why? Because mushrooms contain a lot of moisture, a lot of water, and you want to get rid of it. So in the beginning, if you have a lot of mushrooms, you may want to do them in batches. That way the water will evaporate, and then you can add the rest to the pan. Because otherwise, you're going to boil the mushrooms. And nobody likes boiled mushrooms. Well, maybe some people do, but I don't.
On the story of spices, that is about a tablespoon of ground coriander. Goes in. Delicious. Okay, a little cheat, a little hack. It's not cheaper, actually, but it's a good conversation starter. In the supermarket, you have got frozen chopped veg.
Frozen chopped veg is not cheaper in the market than fresh. Oh, that is interesting. Well, I mean, of course, it depends on where you live, because I remember being back in the US and frozen veg was pretty cheap in comparison to some vegetables. I mean, when you're paying like $2 or $3 for an onion, it can be cheaper going with frozen.
So convenience here, what we have here is celery, carrots, onions, right? So a whole bag goes in.
Onions, carrots, and celery. That's mirepoix. So if you're wondering, you know, mirepoix, what is that? It's the basic veg in French cuisine that we use to make a lot of different things, a lot of sauces, a lot of stews, a lot of things. And in Italy, it's a sofrito, so the same veg. And in Spain, I've said this many, many times, so I'm sure you're tired of hearing it, but in any case, it's not the same thing. We have a different type of sofrito here, a special type.
It's frozen, you can take a handful. This is a really brilliant product to have in your freezer. I'm gonna turn the heat up now. And I wanna let this fry off for about 5 minutes to concentrate the flavors, get them golden and get them caramelized. Most of the time, those frozen bags of chopped veg are more expensive than buying the raw stuff. But let's look at the upside. It's frozen, you can take a little bit or use the whole lot. It's already chopped for you. It's blended as a mix, which is kind of convenient, and there's no waste.
Now, one quick thing. Anytime that you're adding any frozen veg to any pot, you want to sear what you need to sear off in the beginning or saute, like with the onions or with the mushrooms in this case, and then add the frozen veg. Why? Because when you add frozen ingredients to a hot pan, it drops the temperature, and then you're not going to be sauteing anymore. You're going to be boiling everything. So it's going to take a few minutes to get back up to temp.
So this has been frying for like 15 minutes, and you'll notice that the volume has gone down. Look at that. It already smells good. Okay, so when doing a beautiful ragu, bolognese, mincemeat dish, using wine or beer is quite common. There are eggs used in the fining process of red wine, okay? So have a look on the back of the label, to make sure, is it vegan or not vegan?
Jamie is not entirely wrong about this. Egg whites are one of many different ingredients that are used to clear proteins in either, in this case, wine or in a consommé or in anything where you want to clear, say, your stock. Although egg whites are not always used, sometimes, like breweries, for example, and in even other dishes, you can use Irish moss, which is also very good at clearing proteins and other particulates in, say, your beer or in your stock or anything else.
So go in with a good glass. Cheers. So can you see how we've now gone back in seconds to a dry pan, okay? At this point, now I add our proteins in the form of lentils, and then I'll go in with tinned chickpeas.
Right, so both lentils and chickpeas, or garbanzos as well in the US, if you don't know what chickpeas are. They're good substitutes, especially if you want to make this vegan or if you want to add more vegetables, more protein and other different things to your diet. This is good. If you don't like a lot of gas, then maybe you want to stay away from both of these, because I guarantee you that if you have any gas issues, this isn't going to help.
So once we've done that, what we need is a little bit of stock. Now you can buy veggie stock, right? But I just want to give you like a little cheat on how you can make your own.
Wait a minute. Using a cheat for a stock, a veggie stock? Anytime Jamie starts saying like he has a cheat or a hack or a friend told him,
A little hack of a friend of mine that they swore by. And I tried it and I did it as a blind taste because I swore that it wouldn't work. And it did. Mango chutney, 1 teaspoon.
You have to take it with a grain of salt because this may be the beginning of the end of this recipe.
Just boil a kettle and use, this is porcini, but I really genuinely do use dried mushrooms. You just put a little handful like that in, right? That's all you need.
Right, so far with the porcini mushrooms, good. Porcinis give a lot of flavor to a dish, and actually when you make like croquetas de ceps or porcini mushrooms, they're delicious.
The flavor is phenomenal. Also, if you wanted to pep up some flavor, like you can cheat with a little bit of Marmite, just a little spoon like that goes in.
Marmite? In a veggie stock?
Just a little thimble of soy sauce. The other one is miso.
Soy and miso. He has so many different things going on here. I mean, is this a stock or is he turning this into like some weird form of tea?
So these are all really good tips. Then if you've got any herbs lying around, you can put those in, right? But essentially we're making a cup of tea. It's an infusion. If you're using carrots and you've got peel, right? You can still, be clever about it. This will taste phenomenal.
It's gonna taste phenomenal. Oh, that's subjective, eh?
So let's just move it about. Oh, it's good.
I don't think so.
There's one last ingredient. You could use tomato puree, you could use tinned tomatoes. I'm using just a little clutch, 10 or 12 sun-dried tomatoes. Sunshine, optimism, hope, little pops of sweetness.
And they're also Jamie's brand of sun-dried tomatoes, as we can see on the label.
As we add our stock now, this is essentially the equivalent of our mincemeat, our bolognese-esque type ragu. And the mushrooms can go in, by the way, not the herbs. The little masher, just gently crush, just to lose, that blatant shape of the chickpea.
Why are we using the masher again? You don't need to be using the masher. Someone needs to take that masher away from him. Like, honestly, he overuses it. You don't need to be using it. You don't need to make this into puree. It's chickpeas. What are the chickpeas? What are the garbanzos going to do to you? Huh? They're going to bite.
Okay, so we're done. Turn it off. Normally at home, I would just fill this pan with mashed potato now. But I do want to make it a bit more fancy, just because, we're making a cooking show.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is for TV, so maybe we do want to make it a little nicer. Just a bit. Just a little bit.
It's a little bit wetter than you would think, but remember, it's going to carry on baking in the oven, and I do want it to kind of be blippy.
It's a bit more wet than you may think. No, it's pretty wet. And also the word blippy. I've never heard that word before, blippy. What does blippy mean?
So, into that dish, I'm going to go on top with my mashed potato, just boiled, mashed. Instead of butter, nice extra virgin olive oil and salt and pepper, a little bit of nutmeg. It's really nice.
The mashed potatoes are so dry. And why are we crumbling the mashed potatoes with our hands? Golly, use some gloves for goodness sake. Not only that, but if they are hot, if you put on gloves, you don't burn yourself. And it keeps your hands clean, and it keeps the mashed potatoes from being contaminated.
Last but not least, before I pop it in the oven, I'm going to put a little oil over the top of the potatoes and purposefully use a different herb, thyme. If you put in, 3 or 4 tablespoons of oil, like that, right? And get in there like this. And then squeeze it through. That will guarantee you flavour, but a nice crispy finish.
What is Jamie doing to the herbs? You don't need to make herb oil like this. I mean, this is a very basic way of doing it, but basic. You don't need to get your hands into it and squeeze the out of the herbs and everything. If you want to, and you want to have a mess, and you want to make a mess and have oil all over your hands and have greasy hands, then do what you want.
In the oven it goes now for about half an hour, 40 minutes until golden, blipping and delicious. So in we go.
Blipping again.
So this beautiful veggie shepherd's pie has had 35 minutes. Oh, look at that. Absolutely beautiful. What I loved about this, can you see here? Look at that. So we've got that incredible gravy blipping away here.
Ah, blipping away, bubbling. So overall, Jamie did get some nice color on top of the shepherd's pie. This is good. You want a little bit of color on it, and you don't want to burn it. That's a no-no.
Cooking into the potatoes, giving you soggy, tasty potatoes. We've got the crispy potatoes on top, little gnarly, crispy bits here. Look at that, look, sticky bits. Really, really nice. Almost like the best bits. Yum.
And Jamie said the same thing about the lasagna.
Can you see the crispy bits at the side? Look at that. Stodgy, crispy. Some lovely seasonal greens that you can just toss with a little bit of olive oil. So let's go in for the kill.
Let's go in for the kill. He's already gone in for the kill. This is overkill.
You can see this is going to feed nicely, like a big old group of people.
Unless if you have a lot of friends, you may not have so many friends after you feed them this.
Serve this with whatever lovely sort of steamed or boiled veggies you can get your hands on. I've just got a little bit of kale here, mustard and brown sauce, Really, really nice. Not that it's traditional, but a little bit of ketchup as well is definitely the done thing in our house. Enough yapping. Time to have a little taste.
Now guys, what do you think Jamie's gonna say? Do you think he's going to come out and say, this is the best vegan shepherd's pie ever? Or do you think he's going to say, you know, it could use a bit of work. The mashed potatoes are maybe not seasoned enough, you know. The mix is maybe a little too salty. I put too much Marmite in there. You don't know? No, I don't think so. I think he'll say it tastes good.
Let's get in there. Yummy texture. First thing, the texture. It is very similar to what you'd get in a typical meat sort of stew ragu. Experimenting, having fun, and being open-minded. So there you go.
This is true. With food, it is a good idea to be open-minded because you don't want to just say, no, you can't do anything. Otherwise, you don't have any progress. And a lot of the dishes that we have today, we wouldn't have had if everyone was so strict with the ingredients. But having said that, there are limits.
Happy cooking. That's delicious. It's really good.
Now, if we were to just look at the shepherd's pie, saying it's a vegan shepherd's pie, I have to admit, it doesn't look that bad. It doesn't. But we know what he put in it. Now, me personally, I would try this just to taste it, but I don't think it would be something that I would like that much. I would probably want something else. Now, guys, I'll leave the discussion up to you in the comments down below, but let me know if you would try this, if you would not try it, or if you would chuck it in the bin. Obviously, it wasn't one of the worst recipes. It's more subjective, so this is why I want to know your opinion on it.
Now, this is a kind of Anglo biryani. You know, we're not starting with raw meat. We've got the leftover meat, but we will turn it into something incredible.
It all begins with the base for the meat and the spinach.
Here we go. We're using leftover meat today. I mean, it's not a bad idea to use leftover meat to make something else out of it. It's actually a really good idea on how to use leftovers. Fingers crossed.
Finely chop 2 red onions, crush in 6 cloves of garlic and 2 thumb-sized pieces of ginger.
Ginger freezes brilliantly. So, freeze what you don't want to use.
Just keep in mind that if you do freeze ginger whole, it is very fibrous, and because of that, it may not have the same texture when you defrost it. And if you're wondering why is that, it's because when you freeze anything, especially like fish, water freezes, it expands several times its normal size, and because of that, it will shred a lot of products.
Chop a few sprigs of coriander, stalks and all, and just bruise everything into each other.
Bruise everything into each other. That's a poor choice of words. You don't want to bruise the vegetables. This is important, yeah? You want to slice them, chop them, but don't bruise them.
Then divide the aromatic veggies between 2 pans. One to cook the meat and one for the spinach.
I've got about 250 grams of leftover meat. Just run your knife through it so it's kind of little chunks.
Whack the lamb into your first pan with 2 heaped teaspoons of the curry powder.
Curry powder? Are we making a curry instead of biryani? As much as I would like to be bad cop today like Uncle Roger normally is and lay into Jamie, I'm going to try to be fair. I think he's adding curry powder because curry powder normally contains a lot of the ingredients that you would normally add to biryani. Turmeric, coriander, cinnamon, cardamom, maybe fenugreek, black pepper, ginger, and a few other spices. Instead of adding them separately, we're just adding everything in, maybe because it makes it easier. But he didn't do this with his curry that we reviewed years ago.
When you're juggling work and family, you need a dish that's super simple to rustle up.
I want to make a curry.
With 2 heaped teaspoons of the curry powder, salt, pepper, and 2 tablespoons of mango chutney.
Sweet, spicy, and very, very delicious.
Mango chutney! For the love of God, why every Indian dish, and biryani is not just Indian, but for every single dish, why must we add mango bloody chutney?
Sprinkle that in, right? Then we're going to go in with a good friend, right? Mango chutney. You want a couple of nice tablespoons. If you want to take the edge off the spice, put like 2 teaspoons of mango chutney. A little hack of a friend of mine that they swore by. And I tried it, and I did it as a blind taste because I swore that it wouldn't work, and it did. Mango chutney, 1 teaspoon.
We've tried Jamie's butter chicken, and we bought this specific chutney that he used. While it is a very tasty chutney, it's extremely sweet, like super sweet. More than 50% of the ingredients in this chutney is sugar. What I think we're gonna do is we're going to get some merch that says no mango chutney. Put that on there, yeah? Put Jamie's face on there, maybe.
Now, in this pan here, which is frying away beautifully, I've got a little secret ingredient I want you to think about. Fenugreek. Put a couple of teaspoons of this in. These toast off beautiful. They're really savoury, they've got a sweetness to it. As soon as that fenugreek hit that oil and the ginger and it's amazing flavours.
With the fenugreek seeds, you need to cook them. If you're going to be using the leaves, you can add them a little later on so you don't lose the fragrance and the oils. And it does add a lot of flavour.
Now, I'm a lover of fresh spinach, but in the right place at the right time. Frozen spinach can be incredible. It's about appropriateness. And in this context, I want a deep, dark, irony kind of spinach dish that I can either serve beside things, or in this case, as a layer in my biryani.
Surprisingly, when you do go to the grocery store, sometimes the frozen veggies are actually cheaper than fresh vegetables. Personally speaking, if you can get fresh veggies, use them. And if you're going to be using fresh and you're going to be using spinach, buy a lot, because spinach shrinks quite a bit.
Now back to the leftover lamb. To create a gorgeous sauce, start by slicing 1 chili and add 2 tablespoons of flour.
Jamie's adding 1 red chili. But the flour, this isn't a European recipe. We don't need to add the flour to thicken this into a gravy. That sauce or the juice will go into the rice and it will help finish cooking the rice. So why are we adding the flour? Because we're going to be making gravy.
Now, to contrast the sweetness from the mango chutney, just a swig of red wine vinegar.
What?
That's going to be a little bit of a tack when you eat it. Very, very nice.
Why add the vinegar? If you need to cut the sweetness of the mango chutney because you added so bloody much of it to this recipe, why add it in the first place if you have to later add another ingredient that you don't need to add to this to compensate for the previous ingredient? It makes no sense.
If you have any leftover gravy, this is your moment to not waste that.
Oh my goodness. For everybody that's watching, please hit the like button. But most importantly, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do so. Because trust me, watching him put mango chutney in this is torture.
Go in with some stock. I've made some with some leftover lamb bones, but you could easily use a stock cube. Then let it simmer until nice and thick for about 20 minutes. Okay, so this is the bit now where we're going to make the biryani. Kind of emotionally get yourself into a lasagna place.
Oh no. The last lasagna that we tried was Jamie's recipe on a veggie lasagna.
And then just stir it through. This will be absolutely like a lasagna.
Be sure to go see that video after seeing this one. But I have a question. Where's the rice? We're supposed to be making like biryani. And the rice? It's a rice-based dish. It's like one of the most important ingredients.
Grease up a nice dish. I'm using dripping for extra flavour, but olive oil is fine. Then go in with some basmati rice, which has already been cooked and left to go cold. I'm just encouraging it to go up the rim and the edge of that dish.
Oh, okay, Jamie added the rice. He didn't show us how he cooked it or made it. He may not have made it, somebody else may have. The thing is, normally when you make the rice, a lot of the Indian chefs will say that you need to undercook the basmati rice so you don't overcook it later on, because you have to cook it twice. So what they will do is cook it to maybe 70-80% before, drain it, let it dry, and then later on it will cook the rest of the way in the little pot with all the juices and everything from all the meat and the sauce and everything else.
Over here, all the water's gone, it's dense, it's dark. So into the pan we go with the spinach, every last bit.
Since everything's already cooked now, because you're not going to be actually cooking the meat in the pot, everything's 100% cooked, you don't need to cook it for that long, because if you cook it too long, you will burn the rice, especially the rice on the bottom of the pan.
And now for the lamb. Phenomenal flavour, big flavour, delicious flavour. Drain off the sauce for an amazing gravy, then pour the lamb on top of the spinach. Then a final layer of rice, a scattering of almonds, and just a little olive oil. Cover.
I think this would also be another leg down moment for Uncle Roger. It's like a must. He had to use it. He used it so the almonds would toast a little bit. This is why he used it. I don't know. If you have the last name Oliver, you might as well capitalize on it and use olive oil as one of your signature ingredients. It makes sense. It really does. But this isn't Italian or Mediterranean cuisine. So, why?
And then into the oven it goes for 40 minutes. Now prepare yourselves for proof of why everyone loves biryani.
What is that? Sauce or something off to the right here? It kind of looks like refried beans, doesn't it? I think it's gravy.
And that, my friends, that is what we're looking for. That little bit of crispy rim. It's that wonderful contrast of crispy rice and fluffy rice. Gorgeous.
So you can see the individual spots where the rice granules were in the pan. They were stuck and burnt to them. It doesn't look like the biryani has a lot of sauce. It looks very, very dry.
Pour over that spicy gravy, a scattering of fresh coriander, dollop in some soothing yogurt, and then some sliced chili on top.
Jamie poured extra gravy on this. Was this the same gravy as the lamb? Did he save a portion of this? Or is this something else that he made on the side and he didn't show us? And when Jamie says spicy, I highly doubt that it's super spicy. I would say that it's mildly, a little spicy. Just a little.
Really nice. A great, great way to celebrate leftovers in a very, very cool way.
Now, obviously, I'm going to be a little more fair with Jamie than Uncle Roger. First off, when you look at the final product, even though he added a little bit of gravy and everything to it, it doesn't look horrible. It doesn't. And I'm sure it doesn't taste plain or bland because he did add a lot of spices to it. Although he added just a quick curry mix to it, he did add at least spices and it does have flavor. Now for the bad bit. I don't know why Jamie has this mania to add the bloody mango chutney to every single curry or everything that he adds it to. He always adds a little dollop of mango chutney. It's like, it's constant.
Sprinkle that in. Right, then we're going to go in with a good friend, right? Mango chutney. You want a couple of nice tablespoons.
I mean, honestly, you think he has like stock or something in that company because he keeps using it every single time. And then on top of that, he added vinegar to cut the sweetness of the mango chutney. It was dry. It did look like he burnt it a little bit. And then when he actually gave us a shot, it looked like a very dry biryani. And if you haven't seen any of the Jamie recipe videos, I've actually remade the recipes. Please go check them out because I have remade a decent amount of Jamie's recipes.
Lovely people, we are going to make the most incredible mac and cheese. I've got a recipe for you that's going to blow your mind.
That's never a good idea to make promises that you can't keep.
Let's do this. First up, a nice big knob of butter into a pan. Finely slice 3 of these onions. As the butter comes up to the heat, 15 minutes to make these onions go sweet and gorgeous.
He's adding a lot of onions to this. Well, I think Jamie is going to be caramelizing the onions. So this will add like a sweet element. It'll sweeten the mac and cheese a little bit, but it's not a necessity.
A stir every now and again, beautiful. So after 15 minutes, you can see the onions have shrunk back down. It's lightly golden.
I was right. Jamie is caramelizing the onions. This will add a sweetness to the dish, which, you know, you don't need to do it. You don't have to. You can make a simple mac and cheese.
So I'll take 3 tablespoons of flour, and that's our thickening agent to turn our milk into a silky, gorgeous sauce. And that will immediately suck up all of the moisture from the onions.
So what Jamie's doing right now is making a simple roux. You know, this is going to be the starter for the bechamel. Now, what's a roux? Well, a roux is an easy way of thickening a sauce. There are many different types of roux, but in general, you want equal parts butter and flour. Well, always a little more butter than flour because otherwise then the sauce is going to be a little lumpy. But there are 4 different types of roux. You have a white roux, which you cook for about 1 minute to 3 minutes. You barely cook it. You have a blonde roux, which you cook for about 3 minutes or a little longer, where it's still quite blonde. You have a brown roux, which obviously is a little darker. You cook it a little longer. And then you have a dark roux. And dark roux you cook for a very long time. Not until the point where they're black, but until they're like heavily caramelized. And the white roux, the blonde roux, the brown roux you use in French cuisine. Dark roux are popular in Cajun cuisine.
And then I've got a litre of milk. So slowly, slowly, we'll add that milk. As soon as it's absorbed, we'll add some more. So the rest of the milk goes in, and we're gonna let that simmer while we cook the pasta.
Now, as far as adding the milk, there are many that say you need to add a cold roux to hot milk or hot milk to a cold roux. In any case, if the milk is at room temp, it should be okay. But when you go to add it to like this roux to make the bechamel, add it in stages. Don't add all of the milk at once, because what can happen is you can create a lot of lumps, and those lumps can be quite hard to get rid of. However, if you're going to blend the sauce, it's a little bit of a cheat, so it doesn't really matter if you have a lot of lumps. It still does, but not as much, because you can just blend it, and if need be, you can pass it through a sieve as well if you really messed it up. There's always a way to save a sauce. Sometimes it may be a little difficult, especially if you don't know, but there are tricks in the kitchen that we use.
So of course, we're using macaroni. I'm only gonna cook this for 5 minutes. I wanna half cook the pasta and then let this simmer while we get onto the other flavorings of this sauce. So when it comes to choosing the cheese, you could do one, of course you could, but I wanna do it my style.
Oh, he's gonna be doing it his style today. I hope this isn't gonna be a repeat of the butter chicken.
This is my kind of version of a butter chicken.
Now, as far as what type of cheese you're gonna be adding, not all cheese that have mold is good to add. So if you do see that your cheese has a little bit of mold, especially like on the rind here, which I think it looks like it's the cheddar, it's okay as long as you don't add it. It's not a big deal. As a matter of fact, you wanna try to get rid of it, because that mold would just spread because it's eating the cheese, and it can spread to everything else in the fridge as well. Some mold is good, but there are other types of mold that's not good.
100 grams of cheddar. Now that's a good flavor and a good melter.
It depends on the type of cheddar. It's being a little too generalistic. I mean, that's like kind of saying like all pizzas are delicious and tasty. And I know that's not a fact. I've had quite a few pizzas that taste like cardboard. And like pizzas, not all cheese is made the same.
Then we're gonna go to a really stringy, gorgeous cheese. So this is a raclette, but you could absolutely use a lovely Gruyere. 100 grams goes in like that. And then Parmesan. I'll do that on a finer side. And Parmesan just has that amazing ability to join up flavors, make it all make sense.
Parmesan, well, Parmigiano Reggiano, if you're gonna be adding the good stuff to this, the better the cheese, the better the sauce. It adds a lot of salt to this. So if you're gonna be adding a lot of it, just taste it, yeah, as you're making it, because you can add too much and then the dish is gonna be a little, well, too salty.
Now let's just talk about nutrition. This is not a green dish, but it is one of the most beautiful things ever. But also, as indulgent as this is, it's a brilliant carrier of seasonal veggies. So lovely fresh or frozen peas, bang, amazing.
Peas? Seriously, the first word out of his mouth that he says, well, you can add something to the dish, peas. That's his favorite thing to add. I mean, honestly, he could have said anything else, but it had to be peas. Don't tell me that he's actually going to be adding peas to this.
Getting asparagus in there, fantastic. Handful of spinach. But today, we're keeping it really simple. And this pasta has had nearly 5 minutes. Get into this pasta water and steal some of this starchy water, and we might need that later. We've only half cooked the pasta, and there's good reason for that, because when it carries on its journey of cooking, it's sucking up that flavor, not water.
A lot of people have told me recently that I pick on Jamie too much. I mean, I'm not as hard as him as Uncle Roger is. Yeah, I'm not. I could be, but I'm not. And I give credit where it's due. Jamie with this is right. You don't want to fully cook the pasta if you're going to then put this in the sauce and continue cooking it by putting it either in the oven or letting it stay in the sauce. Also, when taking the pasta out, well, it should be a little less done than al dente, it's going to continue carrying over and cooking because the pasta is not being cooled down. So if you run some cold water under the pasta, it'll stop the pasta from cooking. That's one thing. If you let the pasta, just let it sit there in the colander, it will continue cooking.
So I'll get that in, and I'll save back just a little bit for on top later. A teaspoon of English mustard gives it an amazing color and gentle heat.
Now, just before anyone starts criticizing Jamie and going after him for adding English mustard to this, you do, or you can, actually add English mustard to this to just give it a little bit of spice. And a lot of recipes do have English mustard, so this isn't a bad thing. However, it's not for everyone. If you don't want to add English mustard to it, you don't have to.
A little hack of a friend of mine that they swore by. And I tried it, and I did it as a blind taste because I swore that it wouldn't work, and it did. Mango chutney, 1 teaspoon. Slightly strange, but go with it.
Go with it. A friend recommended the hack. Did this friend also recommend to put the mango chutney in the butter chicken and the shrimp curry that we reviewed? Yeah, did he? Which, by the way, if you haven't seen that video, or both of those, I'll leave the links down below. Also, if anyone doesn't believe me that mango chutney, that brand of mango chutney, this specific type of this brand is sweet, I remade Jamie Oliver's mango chutney. I still have that mango chutney, and tasting it, it's off the scale on the amount of sugar that they add to it. Honestly, this brand of mango chutney is tasty, but it's sweet as f***.
We're gonna add a little bit of this starchy water to get ooziness and silkiness. So it's really important to do this off the heat. We don't want to be boiling cheese. At this point in the story, we go in with our macaroni, give it a nice little toss up. I'm excited.
Did I miss that part? But it didn't look like he blended the sauce. Or maybe he did. But if you're going to be adding all the onions to this, and if you have any lumps as well, it's just a good idea to give the sauce a blend. Unless you want it a little lumpy. I mean, I don't want my cheese sauce to be lumpy. A lumpy sauce with mango chutney in it. Blech.
And I forgot one seasoning. Of course, Worcestershire sauce. A good couple of little swigs in there.
No, personally, I've never tried it with a mac and cheese. I never would have thought of adding it to a mac and cheese, but then again, I would never have thought of adding mango chutney to mac and cheese either. And look at what happened.
And we are good to go. We're gonna take this gorgeous, silky, pastry goodness. Look at that. So that goes in the oven for half an hour at 200 degrees Celsius, which is 400 Fahrenheit. Now, what I wanna do to make it even better is contrast that creamy, cheesy gorgeousness. So we're gonna make a pan grattata. Bacon, herb, garlic.
This is nice. Adding some crispy bacon and breadcrumbs to the top of this. Very nice. It adds texture and flavor.
As it starts to get lightly golden, that is your cue to put the breadcrumbs in. And these flavored breadcrumbs are like a gift on a simple pasta dish, even lovely stews. Amazing. These breadcrumbs have gone golden and crunchy. They smell amazing. Come on.
If the breadcrumbs are a little dry, if you don't have enough basically fat in that, you can add a little bit of lard to this and it will add more flavor to it. And well, just make the breadcrumbs a lot tastier as well.
Half an hour. Oh, look at that. Come on. Mac and cheese beautifulness. Crack.
Kind of sounds like a kid when he goes into a toy shop. Huh? Whee!
Come on. You know it makes sense. A few beautiful salad leaves. The ultimate smoky bacon. Crispy bits. Enough talking, let's just eat it.
If I just saw the end result and I didn't know that he put some mango chutney in this, you know, you could say, oh, well, that doesn't look that bad. But, ¿qué pasa? I know what he put in it.
Like the depth of flavor is off the hook. One of the things I like to do, which is my own personal problem,
I don't think that's his only problem.
is to take a vulnerable, empty gem lettuce leaf and then load it with mac and cheese. And I actually do this at home, and my kids are around the table, and they're just looking at me going, you are such an idiot, you are like...
They took the words right out of my mouth.
But then, when they try it, they realise that I'm a missionary, trying to make the world a better place through mac and cheese. Don't judge me. I say no more, but click the link and cook it. You'll love it.
One thing that I love about Jamie, and for the most part, nobody can deny this, he is a character. He's good on camera. Whether or not you enjoy his recipes or whether you don't like them at all and you think they're disgusting, well, at least some of them, he's a character. But you do have to admit, some of these recipes have just been bizarre. I mean, think about it. The chili jam and the silken tofu with a little bit of water in the egg fried rice. That was the big one. The mango chutney in butter chicken. Chorizo in the paella, but On top of all that, peas are his favorite vegetable because he has literally added peas to just about every recipe that we have reviewed.